As you guys already know, blood buildup is extremely OP in Elden Ring, but want to make sure you have the best build and the only build you're going to need in order to defeat any enemy in the game. Well, today I'm going to show you guys the only build you're going to need where you're going to be able to do 10k plus damage every single time. So if that sounds like something you're definitely interested, a thank you would be greatly appreciated, and let's dive in and talk about this build. So guys, let me tell you guys exactly what makes this build really amazing. The reason why this build is amazing is because you don't have to be super high leveled up. In addition to that, guys, you do not need to wait to the end game to actually make this build work. Early game, end game, you're still going to be able to run the same build without having to do too much of an investment. In addition to that, guys, you're going to be able to go NG plus 1, NG plus 2, NG plus 3, and you're going to be able to carry this build all the way across. So what exactly are we running, and why is this the only build you need? We're going to be talking about a lot of misinformation that's on a lot of YouTube channels. I don't want to mention any names or call anybody out, but there is a ton of people just making copy and paste builds, and they don't really explain to you guys exactly what's going on. So I kind of want to break down the kind of this build and maybe give you guys a better idea of why you might be running this build completely incorrectly. So, as far as weapons, guys, we're running is the Scavenger's curved sword. Now, the reason we're running this sword is because, number one, it's super easy to get. I'll show you at the end of the video on how to get it if you don't have it in your arsenal. Number two is this sword will allow us to get blood buildup. Of course, this is the blood build, and we want to make sure we get the blood buildup. Now, one of the misconceptions of this particular buildup is a lot of people will go ahead and use this particular sword and put a blood affinity on it. Now, the problem with the blood affinity being applied to this one is that when you use the seppuku, you pretty much cap the amount of blood buildup you're able to do. So running a blood affinity kind of doesn't give you any benefit, in the sense that you are still going to be capped on how much blood buildup you have if you run it on both swords. In addition to that, guys, there are some enemies who are not, they don't really care about the blood buildup, and you're not going to be able to do damage to all the enemies. And having it running only blood will hinder you on doing more damage to specific enemies. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions that I've seen a lot of other YouTubers do, is they'll tell you to put the blood buildup on the weapon and put it with blood affinity, and that kind of messes you up. You shouldn't do. So the one I want to recommend, guys, is the occult one, and I'm going to explain why you should theoretically run occult. So let me go right here to the side of grace and show you guys exactly what it is that I mean. So we go to the Ash of Wars, and we go here, and we go to this part, and we put the seppuku. It's going to allow us to, pretty much put an affinity. Now, we can apply a blood affinity, which is going to make our blood loss build up to 110. Now, that is how almost everybody runs it. What I want to recommend, guys, is actually go and put it to occult. The reason why we want to put it to occult is because by putting it to occult, we're going to be doing two things. Number one, we're going to be able to killing other enemies who are kind of like, don't worry about the blood, or don't cause any damage by the blood. And in addition to that, we're going to be allowed to scale off arcane, which we're going to see some of this when I see my stats. This is going to allow us to do a little bit more damage because we're scaling off arcane, which makes it really, really good. So, guys, run occult. You're going to be doing the same amount of damage if you're running the blood buildup, because this theoretically is capped, and your arcane is capped at D, and so is your dexterity, as you guys see right there. So, guys, run the occult. That is one of the misconceptions. So after that being said, guys, let's go ahead into the equipment and talk about the other thing that we're running. We're running the Commander Standard. Now, this is particularly the only reason we're running this. It is not a requirement. It does give you a little bit of a boost, but it's not a boost where you're going to notice that it's going to give you a ton of damage. Now, this one, guys, it's super easy to get. You can get it early game as well, and this is going to boost your heavy attacks, and pretty much your overall damage is going to boost it just a tad bit when you actually run this, the Battle Cry. So it is a very interesting weapon to have, and one that I recommend you pick up. Other thing we're running, guys, is a Dragon Convenient Seal. Now, the reason why I like to run the Dragon Convenient Seal is because this seal has no weight value. So if you run it, it doesn't hurt you. And in ability, it does let you run it lets you kind of proc some convenience or some incantations if you want to run incantation. This one, even though your FP is going to be a little bit low, it still gives you that viable option to run at least one of them and be able to cast that off. Now, one of the biggest requirements, guys, is the white mask. Now, the white mask is extremely important because anytime you're running a blood build weapon or a blood build, this is going to be one that's going to be very favorable because it's going to give you a little bit more damage when you're using blood. Now, one of the misconceptions that I see running around the internet, and I've seen a lot of it, guys, and let me know if you've seen it as well, is they'll tell you to run the swords and jump and do the slashes. So they'll tell you jump and do the slashes like that, so you can do the 4 swings like that. That is incorrect for 2 particular reasons. Number one, guys, when you jump and you do the slashes, you hit 4 times, and then it takes forever for you to jump again and do the slashes. What I'm going to recommend, guys, is something actually very easy, which is run. Run and do the slashes. Run and do the slashes because you're going to be able to do them more consecutive. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean. So if you run, you do the slashes, you run again, you do the slashes, you're doing that more fast and more efficient than you are just jumping and doing the slashes like that, because that's going to take a little bit longer than you doing just a run and then doing the slashes. So I would recommend do the run and do the slashes. It helps you quite a lot. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be saying, Laser, I mean, I could definitely do the jump in the air and apply this one right here. It's going to give me a little bit more boosted damage when I do that. I'm telling you guys, the advantage of running curved swords is the ability of being able to actually do them very fast and very frequently. If you're jumping in the air and doing the slashes, you're not going to be doing it as fast as you are if you're running. So definitely give that a try and switch that up. That is another misconception that I see as well. So as far as our talisman that we're running, of course we're running this one, which is the Medicine Prothesis. It's going to boost dexterity and raise attack power with successful attacks. Really important because that's how we're able to get that high level cap. In addition to that, guys, this is pretty much a requirement. The Lords of Blood Exalted. It's going to allow you to do blood loss in the vicinity. It increases your attack power. We're going to be cutting that blood loss very frequently. And then we got the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia. Greatly raises attack power with successful attacks. If you don't have this one, guys, then you could always go with this one, which is the Wind Sword Insignia, which is going to raise your attack power by successful attacks. It doesn't give you as much damage as this one, but it's still almost about the same, guys. Next, guys, we have this one, which is going to be the raise attack power when your HP is at maximum health. This is the original sword talisman. Now, you could go with this one, but if you feel like you're getting hit and getting damage, you might as well go with this one, which is the red feather branch sword, because this is going to raise the attack power when your HP is low. So either or, if you're getting hit a lot, go with this one. If you feel like you're not getting hit a lot and want to get that max damage while your health is being active, you're going to go with that one. And that is as far as talisman. Another thing I want to recommend is this one right here, guys, which is the Bloodbolt Aromatic. This is going to use your FP to enter a temporary state of fervor, which is going to allow you to do a little bit more damage as well. As far as for the flask, guys, we're running the Crimson Bubble tier. This is going to convert damage received into HP. Really important because that's where we'll get our health back. And we're also running the Strength Non-Crystal tier, which is going to temporarily boost our strength damage when we're using it. So really effective and really helpful. Now, guys, this is pretty much the only build you're going to need in the whole entire game, and the best blood buildup in the entire game. Now, you're probably wondering, Laser, there's other weapons that are actually doing more damage than the sword blades or the twin sword blades. Yes, that is 100% correct. There are other weapons that do a lot of more damage, but the problem with those weapons is you're not going to be able to cast the multiple hits with your character as you are with the twin swords, because these swords allow you to do more damage by getting hits more fast and more frequently than you are with the other blood buildups or the other blood builds. The other blood builds are really effective, but they take a little bit longer to chain attacks. With this one, you're going to be chaining attacks a lot quicker, allowing you to do more damage because you're chaining them and hitting people faster with more consecutive hits. And this is going to work with any character and any boss. You're going to be able to take them out regardless of who they are. And you're going to be getting that 10k, 20k damage and when you guys are doing multiple hits. So definitely, guys, give this a try. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys are already running a blood builder. If you are, if it's different than this one, give this a try. And trust me, guys, you guys won't be disappointed. If you guys are enjoying our content here on the channel, do me a huge favor, guys. Hit us with that thank you. It would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Alright, so like promised, guys, where do you get the swords? It's super easy. You guys don't have them. You're going to go to the Bridge of Iniquity right here. Let me zoom out of the map so you guys can see exactly where it's at. Once you're in the Bridge of Iniquity, just summon your toy. And the cool thing about this one is you really don't have to kill anybody. You just got to make sure you maneuver your way around here. So just keep going straight, guys. and just veer to your left hand side. Now there's going to be a couple ads. Now these ads are all able to be avoided without a problem. So just jump over this area right here. There's going to be one particular ad that you're going to want to make sure to avoid, which is that guy right there on his like little carriage. Just make sure you guys stay to the left hand side. Jump off your torrent as quickly as you possibly can. Go up here, climb. Come on, let me climb, and just work your way up here, and you guys should be good to go. Now, the tricky part is when you get up top, not the when you're in the bottom, but when you get up top, there is another annoying enemy. Now, since you won't have the swords, you're probably gonna want to use whatever you can to kill him. If you don't want to kill him, you actually want to lure him to take him away from the area, and then swing by and pick up the swords. I'm gonna show you guys exactly where it is. So once we get up here, which we're already almost up here, we should be good to go. So once you're up here, guys, you're gonna once again hop on your torrent, some of your torrent, and you're gonna head to this location right here. And once you go to this location right here, the swords are gonna be located very easily for you to be obtained. So you're gonna go through here and work your way up this area. And once you work your way up this area, you're gonna go here, and you're gonna notice that there's this guy right here. He's the annoying one, the one that you want to avoid. And then you made it across to the top. Now, once you made it here on the top, guys, this is where you're going to be able to find the actual sword. It's going to be located right here. You're going to be able to pick it up. I already picked it up, so it's not going to show up for me. There's going to be an enemy that spawns right here, so just kill it, and you guys should be good to go. So all you got to do is just make sure you pick this up, and you guys are ready to have the swords. And there you guys have it. That's how you get the swords. So now you guys are able to complete the build.